Our time to shine. Show that's the kind of state of mind you gotta combine with hard work and time. You gotta climb to the top. Don't let yourself drop till your heart stops. Let this beat rock. Got a new clock and a new stock for this new rock. Just let your mind loose from the new stock. Drunk off the goose, thinking that I'm too pop. Getting caught with a few thoughts cause I'm too lost. Off the speakers can't even handle me. Giving what I got, nobody's gonna drain my energy. And I will never stop, I'm motivated by enemies. Setting up shop so everybody remember me. And no, I am not going through life regretfully. I'd rather work non-stop, what they call incessantly, than work some more job just to live life pleasantly. Already got lost in my mind, not a fantasy. I'm getting with a forgotten soul, so stop, drop, and roll. You lost all control and pop off your balls. I got squat, I fold. I'm not bought, I'm sold. My stock rocks, it's gold. Hey, knock, knock, she holding shit. Talk to close, I ain't stopping though. It's hip hop, you know, or is it rock and roll? I'm not dropping down, no, my pocket's grown. You can't stop the show, so get rockin' on. So let me break it all down for you. I ain't never giving up, I ain't never giving up. Taking that crown from you. I ain't worried about you, I ain't never. So let me break it all down for you.
We are live with episode 35 of Nemesis. Nemesis' last stop before Titan Clash. My name is Alexandra Shaw. I am joined by the chairman of the CWL, and let me tell you, we have a great night. Jesus Christ!
We're getting off to a hot start here, as we don't know why, but Chris Edwards is actually attacking Cairo in the backstage area. Cairo has a match later on today.
Yeah, it was supposed to be him and Golden Mask going up against the War Boys, and now Chris Edwards. It is pandemonium to start this episode of Nemesis, to say the least.
And what is Chris Edwards' beef with Cairo? Cairo just arrived here to Nemesis, and from what I've known, they haven't even crossed paths. So what the hell is going on here?
I mean, only these two will know whatever beef they have, or maybe only Chris Edwards knows what the beef is between these two. But
it's good that Chris Edwards is finally walking away here, but look, Cairo's starting to get back to his feet. Oh, hold on, Chris Edwards, hold on. Oh, look at that spear right onto the concrete.
Chris Edwards cutting Cairo in half, and well, that was certainly an unexpected start to our festivities here tonight.
I feel like that's just setting the tone for the entire show here today.
Well, now we go, speaking of people who have beef, I guess, we go on to Cassie Clark versus Quinn Edwards in the Supremacy Cup. These two definitely have history, as Quinn Edwards is the one to not just, bring about part of the end of her undefeated streak, but also she was one of the ones that took the Nemesis Women's title away from her.
I mean, that's true, and that was a very exciting matchup at Merry Mayhem, but today we've got the rematch.
The opening match of Nemesis is set for 1 fall and is part of the Supremacy Cup. Introducing first, representing Kingsman, weighing 155 pounds, from London, England, Cassie Clark.
Well, as you heard here, our announcer saying that she is representing the Kingsmen. That is 100% fact. The Kingsmen are here to break up all the cults, allegedly, that are running amok on Nemesis. But tonight, that's not her focus. Tonight, her focus is trying to defeat the woman that took the championship from her just a few weeks ago at Merry Mayhem.
And her opponent, weighing 200 pounds, from Los Angeles, California, Quinn Edwards.
As our chairman was saying, it's been 4 months since the last time these two went one-on-one. Quinn Edwards defeating Cassie Clark, ending her Nemesis woman's title reign, and now Cassie Clark looks to get a measure of revenge here tonight in the Supremacy Cup. But here's something we have to take into account here, Chairman, is that Cassie Clark 1-0 so far in the Cup, Quinn Edwards 0-1. But could it be that even though she's down a point, or down 2 points rather, Quinn Edwards is the one coming in here with the advantage?
I would say so. You know, when somebody defeats you, you don't have that same mental advantage over somebody, because at that point you have to figure out a way to beat them. They already know how to beat you. And to give you an example of a fight that happened recently, let's look at Stipe Miocic and Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou came out with a completely different game plan and obliterated Stipe for the UFC championship. So maybe that's what Cassie Clark is going to come out here and do, and she's just going to obliterate Quinn Edwards.
And this one gets underway, and already starting things off heavy there with that forearm. Quinn Edwards, I don't think, wants to get into a collar elbow or any sort of technical matchup against Cassie Clark. Cassie Clark, very proficient in the technical mat-based wrestling.
You know, as much as you want to get wins here in the Supremacy Cup, we do still have the 15-minute timer. So, in your opinion, do you think that Quinn Edwards may just want to run out the clock?
I think that, honestly, if it's me, I don't want it to ever go to time limit. Because not only are you taking a hit on the points, but also think about how much weaker you're going to be for that next match. These two, it's not like they've had a break between their last contest and now. I mean, and we're going to see later in the night that happen again. People have been wrestling week after week after week. But for these two, you're going 15 straight minutes. Okay, you're now easy pickings for whoever your next opponent is.
Makes absolute sense here as we now go a little bit into the 2-minute mark here. Cassie Clark and Quinn Edwards just going back and forth, as we see that elbow connect to the face of Cassie Clark, and now she's in trouble as she gets spun out and planted.
That spinning Michinoku driver there by Quinn Edwards. But Cassie Clark able to answer back, not letting Quinn Edwards build too much in the way of momentum.
And as we continue the fight on the outside, we do have until a 20 count, but it looks like Cassie Clark thought better of it, as only a 2 count was needed. But Quinn Edwards here connecting with a knee to the face that plants down Cassie Clark back down.
And now Hurricane Moneta chooses not to roll through onto a pinfall, though. I think Quinn Edwards looking to inflict a little bit more punishment on Cassie Clark before going for a cover.
And now just trying to slow down the pace a little bit here. But it looks like Cassie Clark wants to turn it up just a bit as she just dove those elbows right into the midsection of Quinn Edwards. I have never seen such devastating elbows connect before.
And now lifting her up, turning her around. And here we see the doubles lullaby connect. And Cassie Clark looking to make this one a quick win.
As I mentioned, she was trying to turn up the pace. It looked like she was actually looking for the match finish here, as she's got it locked in here.
The Black Widow locked in. Is that enough to make Quinn Edwards tap out here? Could Cassie Clark get her redemption here tonight for Mary Mayhem? No, able to. I think she felt her grip slipping and instead chose to get her out of it, going for a pinfall. Now is Cassie Clark 2. And there we see Cassie Clark, the damage having been done by that Black Widow submission, picking up the victory.
A big victory there by Cassie Clark. And again, you saw the determination in her face. She wasn't about to lose to Quinn Edwards twice. And now she's got more points in the Supremacy Cup.
The winner of the match, Cassie Clark.
Cassie Clark proving to be one of the favorites to win this entire cup. And right now she's 2-0, one of the leaders of the bracket. I think she might be the pick to win it all.
I would agree. I have a lot of favorites here, obviously, but...
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, God. Okay, here we go.
What is this? What is he wearing? What is this baby's first archaeology costume-looking dude wearing?
Okay, here's what I've heard so far, right? Alexander has been on a bit of a tear lately, terrorizing local museums, trying to find more information about dinosaurs, because he is dead set that Drake Harrison is not a dinosaur, and he wants to prove it with science.
What? Huh?
Hey, talk to him, not me.
Brain hurt.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the most important presentation that you will ever see. Now, first question. Can you deny science? If you think you can, then go ahead and attempt to fall off the edge of the world. Best of luck. Second question. Do you believe in dinosaurs? Because I do. And I visited a number of museums to do as much research as possible in order to get to the bottom of this mystery. Without further ado, please roll the footage. Source number 1. Polton's Park Online Dinosaur Facts. Dinosaurs may have ended up massive in size, but they all came from eggs. Drake, I hope you really can't sit there and tell me that you were spawned from an egg. There is absolutely no way science supports that fact, and therefore, you have 1 strike. This same source also claims most dinosaurs had very small brains and were about as clever as modern reptiles. Now, this one, this one I absolutely agree with. If you have anything in common with dinosaurs, Drake, it's 100% true that you are just not that smart. So with that, I'll eliminate a strike. Final statement I am taking from this source. The longest dinosaur was the Argentinosaurus, which reached heights up to 37 meters. Drake, you're 5 feet tall. For those of you not smart enough to do the math, 37 meters is 121 feet. Not only does the science not add up, the math doesn't either. Add a strike. Now, I would like to move on to a statement made by a trusted paleontologist known as Doppel, who I conferred with through private messages to keep my research top secret. This esteemed doctor told me that theropods, which is your family of dinosaurs, what they fall into, couldn't rotate their forearms. Now, again, Drake, tell me, how do you connect with a single bound? Checkmate, you fake. That's strike 2. But you know what? One day, I will release all of my research I did and publish a book about it. I could be the next breakthrough scientist that can prove you cannot become a dinosaur by any means. Drake, you've got 2 strikes. I'll spare you a 3rd one for now, because a Titan clash, it's going to be you and me, and you'll definitely get a 3rd strike in Thessaly, Greece, because I'm going to take you out. Did any of that make sense to you there?
No, it didn't. Just leave me to my play-by-play commentary job and let me go home.
All right, well, there you heard it, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to see Alexander and Drake Harrison go at it in Thessaly, Greece at Time Clash next week. But
father,
from one menace to another, huh?
Listen, you could just let me have a break. Now we've got to deal with Warboy Hostis, menace to society. Listen, he's talking about going to freaking WebMD about looking for a dinosaur. I've gone to the top men backstage. I'm looking to file a lawsuit for endangerment of people in their workplace to Warboy Hostis for what he did last week.
The following tag team match is set for 1 fall. Introducing first, Eli Evans, the Golden Mask, Backroom Dealers.
Wait, hold on a second. We knew Cairo got attacked earlier by Chris Edwards, and I guess that means that he was not going to be able to make this match. But lo and behold, Eli Evans is going to step in his place instead.
Yeah, we know Cairo was supposed to be out here. Maybe Warboy Haas is behind all this. Maybe he put Chris Edwards on the case of taking out, Cairo. I'm not convinced that he has nothing to do with this.
I mean, that's entirely fair. I would probably back that claim as well. But, now we're going to see here the Golden Mask, unfortunately having lost to Crom last week due to dubious interference, we'll call it that. And now
it's an injustice that he lost last week. He had Crom dead to rights, and then that little menacing brat stuck his nose where it didn't belong.
And the opponents, Crom, Haas, the Warboys.
All right, well, here they come, Alexander Shaw. The War Boys are making their way to the ring, and we actually haven't seen them in tag team action in a while. Crom has been the one that's been taking a lot of the load of working against the backroom dealings, but now, here they are together once again, former CWL tag team champions.
Yeah, and I'm surprised they didn't cheat to win those ones too, given the fact that Warboy Haas can't seem to get his dirty little nose out of things, but tonight, Backroom Dealings has a chance to get their hands on Warboy Haas once and for all. Warboy Haas can't hide on the outside anymore.
Here we go. I'm ready for this match. I think this one has the possibility of just blowing the roof off the place, and it looks like it's going to be the Golden Mask starting things off against Haas.
And I hope Golden Mask just knocks this man's teeth right down his throat. Here we see a DDT dropping on his head. There we go, Golden Mask. Teach this to Menace a lesson.
But it looks like that did almost nothing as the Jawbreaker connects. And now a wild kick from Haas connects to the Golden Mask.
Yeah, well, that big boot, and now the big boy senton there from Haas. And I find it disrespectful that Haas chooses to do a big boy senton when, in fact, he is quite a small lad.
I mean, he's a big boy in his mind, so that's what matters, right?
Yeah, well, if everything was about in your mind, then everyone would be a world champion.
You're not wrong, as now Haas tags out, and in comes the actual big boy of the War Boys, Crom.
Yeah, thank God. Because now Crom comes in and taking advantage of a downed Golden Mask, but Mask able to bring it back into things, locking in a Rings of Saturn here.
Stretching out as much as he can, the back and the shoulders of Crom. Now he does have to be careful here because he could put his shoulders down, and that's a lot of weight to have on you when you're trying to tap somebody out. But the elbows are connecting there, and Golden Mask has to release the hold.
And now Crom sending it into enemy territory here, but Golden Mask knows better than to be anywhere near Warboy Haas.
And it looks like right there, Golden Mask, he knew, like you said, he knows better. There were two opportunities right there with Crom could have gotten the upper hand, getting Haas involved, but it wasn't meant to be, as Golden Mask was able to just lift up the big boot and just connect to Crom's face.
And now goes for Spine Buster, but Golden Mask able to connect with the DDT, and now looking to make the tag to Eli Evans perhaps, and there we are. And Eli Evans, someone who we have not necessarily seen the most out of in terms of backroom dealings. We know he had that handicap match on their first night of Nemesis against FJA. This is our chance to see what they can truly do in tag team action. Oh, give me strength.
Here comes the little man once again. Warboy Haas is going to be coming into this match. Now, Eli Evans, honestly, he is somebody that was very impressive over on Genesis. I'm not going to lie when I say that I was very shocked when he joined the Backroom Dealings at the end of that Hell in a Cell match that they had at Rivals. I think, and you can quote me on this here, Alexandra, I think Eli Evans is going to 100% be the breakout star of the group.
I think all these people have a chance to break out. I mean, there's a reason that these are some of the most anticipated call-ups from Genesis ever. And I think Eli Evans is definitely no small part of that. As we see now, Haas thankfully tagging out to Warboy Crom.
Now Crom is back in, and this is going to be interesting to see how the power game plays against Eli Evans. This is actually a matchup that we haven't seen yet. As you said, Eli Evans and Dave Graves faced off against FJA, but from backroom dealings, we've seen the Golden Mask, and we've seen, who was the other person that faced Crom? Well, regardless, it wasn't Eli Evans. Cairo, thank you.
Cairo took out Crom in convincing fashion, probably because his little demon buddy, Warboy Haas, wasn't there to get involved. And I'm sure we've seen the same thing with Golden Mask if Warboy Haas wasn't there. As now we see the dissection of Crom, drop to a hold elbow drop.
That is one of the most devastating maneuvers in all of tag team wrestling, as the Golden Mask is the legal man here, and it looks like he's going to try and take out Crom to the outside.
I think it's up there for one of the most devastating moves in all of wrestling, period. I think you've got your Burning Hammer, your Tiger Driver, and then right under that, you've got the drop to hold elbow drop.
That's entirely fair, as now we've got a 3 count, and this is going to be dangerous here, as Golden Mask is in Warboy territory. At any second here, we can actually see Haas drop down from the apron and cause the same havoc that he did last week.
Yeah, and I'm just saying, Chairman, if I start seeing some chicanery from Warboy Haas out by our announce table, I might have to get involved myself, because I will not let this injustice stand any further. You don't see Eli Evans coming in here causing a fuss, no.
I think you should, personally.
I think they're letting the 2 legal members of the tag teams duke it out, as is the rule of the match. If you are not legally tagged into the match, why should you be involved? As now, wait a second, package pile driver on the outside. Crom could have a compressed neck. Haas trying to get involved, and Golden Mask looking for a measure of revenge now. But I think now just looking to call in Warboy Crom.
And now we see Crom just trying to shake up the cobwebs. I think it was a count up to a 15. 16, almost got the count out victory, and Golden Mask would have been okay with that. Now, do you think that that's okay, Alexander Shaw?
A win is a win, especially when after what they had to be put through last week, after the underhanded tactics that Warboy Haas implemented on behalf of the Warboys, I think it would be anything but justified if they took a count out victory here tonight.
And now we see there Warboy Haas connected with a knee to the face, now going after the arm, and once again, the senton as Golden Mask lifts up the legs and breaks up all the momentum from Haas. But Crom got involved, and this is why the Warboys are so good.
Yeah, no. We see getting sent to the outside Warboy Haas, and now we see Golden Mask finally getting his revenge on the Menace. Big suicide dive to the outside.
And that is why the Golden Mask was such a loved force in Japan. As a competitor, he knows how to do the high-flying stuff. He knows how to do the strong style as well. Golden Mask is just incredibly well-rounded, and now Haas is trying to bring the fight to him as well.
Yeah, and we know, of course, Haas works his best when he's not in between the ropes. Going again for more just underhanded tactics is Warboy Haas now, and Golden Mask valiantly taking him down.
And now we see Haas here getting the upper hand on Golden Mask somehow, and now just going for a running bulldog right in front of the fans in the middle section there of the ring. I think this is the part where they want to come back into the ring.
I mean, you said how is he getting the upper hand? I mean, it's because Golden Mask is a consummate professional wrestler. He is trained in how to wrestle in between those 3 ropes squared. And you see Warboy Haas, he's a hooligan, a menace. He thrives when he's bending the rules to his will, and that's exactly what he's doing on the outside of the ring.
Now we're up to a 12 count as Haas makes Golden Mask run into the corner there. And again, this is going to be dangerous territory. This is Warboy country here, but it looks like Haas is actually going to... Haas is going to be sending Golden Mask in, but he didn't move fast enough because now Eli Evans is in. He connects with a clothesline. Now he's going to connect with a kick, but Haas actually just swats it away.
And now Eli Evans. Headbutt to... And see, this is why I disagree with some of the apparel of Warboy Haas. That headbutt may have done even more damage to Evans because of those goggles that are still on his head. Wait a second. Roll up. Let's go, Evans. 2. Let's go! Backroom dealings, picking up the win through pure wrestling there.
It looked like Crom could not get the break up there in time as, the backroom dealings just got a victory over the Warboys, former CWL Tag Team Champions.
The winners of the match, the team of Eli Evans, the Golden Mask, Backroom Deal.
Justice has been brought to the CWL by Eli Evans and the Golden Mask being able to put down the menace to society that is Warboy Haas here tonight. And they did it without breaking any rules, without using any underhanded tactics. As now we are being told that the Twitch champion TJ Black... Wait a second! I was going to say Twitch champion TJ Black was going to be coming out to state his update on Johnny Gemini challenge for the title of Titan Clash, but Samuel Black targeting him backstage.
He was scheduled to come out here and, like you said, mention something about the title match, but it looks like Samuel Black is taking matters into his own hand. We know that because of Samuel Black, Johnny Gemini is not going to be able to participate at Titan Clash. So I guess Samuel Black is staking his own claim to be the next contender for the Twitch Championship.
As now TJ Black getting to his feet and just getting dropped again with that Uranagi side slam.
We know that Samuel Black is a dangerous, dangerous competitor. Oh my God, he's lifting him up. TJ Black, he's going to drop him on the chair.
A just devastating powerbomb onto that steel chair. Warboy Crow, not Warboy Crow, sorry. Samuel Black is sending his message to TJ Black.
Well, I guess TJ Black is not going to come out here and talk. As coming up next, we've got two former Nemesis champions clashing for the first time in what seems like a long time.
We've got Titan Clash coming up, but this is a clash of the Titans right here. Connor Gates, Brian. This is the first time we've seen Connor Gates since he lost the Nemesis World Championship to Alex Perez, and this is the first time we've seen Brian on Nemesis in quite a while, making his return at Battle-On.
I'm very excited for this matchup here, Alex.
The following match is set for 1 fall. Introducing first, weighing in at 210 pounds, from Dudley, England, Connor Gates.
Connor Gates making his way down to the ring, and for the first time in a while, we're seeing Connor Gates come down with no gold around his waist or over his shoulder. He lost to Alex Perez in the main event of Battle Lines, and now he looks to get back on track with a win over Brian here tonight.
And his opponent, weighing 208 pounds, from Dallas, Texas, Brad.
Big match, Brian making his way back down to the battleground. And I've got to say, Chairman, it's been quite a while since we've seen him compete here on Nemesis. You've got to feel a win here tonight. I know we've got Titan Clash coming up, but could you see a possible rematch between Brian and Alex Perez at Supremacy 1 year after Brian retained his Nemesis World Championship against Alex Perez? He could be going for that same title at the same event.
It's such a role reversal that it's crazy to think just how much changes in 1 year. Just a year ago, Brian was the Nemesis World Champion, and he actually walked into Endgame as the champion. Now, Alex Perez is the champion. And, well, Brian is coming back from what was supposed to be a retirement. He was actually thinking of hanging it up and saying that his career is done. But then FJA relit that fire in him, and now Brian's here. He just took a small break, and the passion is there. The love for the sport is there, and now he's got Connor Gates across the ring from him.
I mean, you know what they say about wrestling in retirements? They don't exist. And Brian, I think he sort of came to the realization that he still loves to fight. He still loves this business.
And now it looks like both of these men are gonna go against each other full force. Now, it's interesting to see when you compare Connor Gates and Brian next to each other. Their paths have been incredibly similar. They both started out in tag teams, and they made their names in tag team competition. And a lot of people really didn't think of them as singles competitors. But then they got that one opportunity to shine, to be world champions. They won the championships, had great reigns, and, you know, they proved that they could actually hang in the main event style, in the main event when the lights are bright and everything. So to see them go at it one-on-one here on Nemesis after their trajectories, it's kind of really a treat.
Absolutely it is. And I think both these guys have just, like you said, they've had almost sort of the wrestler's journey of, you know, you start out and people don't know if you can make it, and then by the end of it, you've proven you can hang. Speaking of hang, getting some hang time there was Brian.
That coast-to-coast dropkick connects. You can see goes from one corner to the next, as now it looks like Connor Gates is trying to use that impact to help him, actually. And a hanging STO, very unique maneuver from Connor Gates that we don't see often.
Yeah, that rope hung flatliner by Connor Gates. I mean, hey, wait a second, Ghost Cover. I was going to say, when you lose the title, that's sort of, you know, obviously, yes, you're a world championship competitor, but maybe that's sort of the feel of like, okay, maybe I've got to change some things up with my style.
Oh, now look at that. Just going for the swinging kick as Brian. We have actually seen him take out people with that before. And if I know what's coming, oh, I thought he was going to go for that rocket kick. He's trying to gauge the distance here. I think that he knows Connor Gates would not go down that easy, so he thought better of it.
So now we see that spinning back elbow there by Connor Gates. And now big running snapmare. Now jawbreaker by Brian. Trying to hook the arm here, but Connor Gates able to get down to a knee, and now the gut shots, getting himself to break free.
Now, out of these two competitors here, Alex, who do you think could possibly try and go back into the world title picture?
I mean, I think if we're talking about, you know, sort of like the line, I think Brian's maybe a bit further from the back of the line than Connor. We don't often see... Oh, it's like a twisted view from Connor Gates. I was going to say, we don't have to see the champion immediately go back challenging for the title, but Connor Gates might be about to prove that wrong here. No. As I say, it's not too often you see a champion, after losing the title, immediately go back into the world title picture. As now, Connor Gates, though, I think looking to be the exception that proves the rule, so to speak, as Brian going to the outside, looking for a bit of a tactical retreat there, but now gets caught by Connor Gates, fireman's carry position, and hung up to dry.
Now Connor Gates has been in full control of this matchup as of late, and look at that, just driving the knee to the lower back. And I think I know what's coming here, Alex. We're about to see one code bled.
As now he just drives all the air out of the lungs of Brian, and that might have just put an end to the return of Brian to Nemesis. No, not enough.
Brian somewhere finding it inside of him to kick out. He does not want to go down to Connor Gates that easy.
And Connor Gates, knowing he needs to keep up the pressure on Brian here. Now goes for a cutter, does Brian. Connor Gates pushes him off. Kick to the gut. Looks to lift him up here. Drops him on his head with the brainbuster.
You know, Connor Gates looks like he thinks that he's celebrating. He thinks he's got the match won as he hits the ropes, but the kick misses. And now Connor Gates is going to turn up the heat one more time against Bryan. A single leg drop kick, a second one. Ducks the clothesline, goes for a swinging neck breaker here, as now Connor Gates has all the momentum behind him. This is the most dominant performance I've seen by Connor Gates so far, as he sends Bryan down in flames.
And that might have just put Bryan's return down in flames. But no, Bryan still has signs of life.
How is Bryan doing this?
I mean, just pure will to win. That's all you can attribute it to. And now Bryan lifting up Connor Gates. Sit out powerbomb, hooks the leg. But no, Connor Gates able to stay fighting.
And now this is Bryan's opportunity to try and get back in this. But it looks like Connor Gates with that dragon screw may have actually just tried to finish this matchup, as he's once again setting up Bryan. He's got the arms hooked. And look at that, lifts him up. Cold bled for the second time. That has got to be it as Connor Gates goes into the pinfall.
And that's all she wrote. Hook of the leg. And, well, sorry for calling that a bit too early there, folks. Bryan's still got fight left in him.
At this point, if you're Connor Gates, what do you have to do to take down Bryan? Oh my God!
Running knee strike, that could be enough to seal it there for Bryan. No. I think these two sealing the show right now. And I think looking for that running knee once again is Bryan, looking to go for two straight. And another one. And that's enough for Bryan to pick up the win. What a contest from both men.
Bryan just showed that not only is he incredibly resilient, that he can take you out with one of those devastating kicks from the corner.
Absolutely he can. And I mean, we saw him hit those big kicks twice in a row, and that's very smart for Bryan. If it doesn't work once, just simply do it again.
The winner of the match, Bryan!
As Bryan picks up a big win in his first match back on Nemesis, you've got to feel he has got title aspirations into his sights.
I mean, if I just defeated the former world champion, I would too.
As now, speaking of former world champions, FJ has had multiple opportunities this season to be a world champion and keeps slipping up. And now he has drawn the ire of backroom dealings. And now he's drawn the ire of one Dave Graves of backroom dealings.
You know, this is going to be very interesting to see if backroom dealings is even going to get involved in this matchup first and foremost. And second, to see what Dave Graves is made out of when he faces a former world title contender.
The following match is set for one fall. Introducing first, representing Backroom Dealings, weighing 215 pounds, from St. Paul, Minnesota, Dave Graves.
Dave Graves making his way down to the ring, and he's already beaten FJ once before, but that was a handicap match. Now it is mano a mano.
And if you didn't notice, there's no backroom dealings behind him. He's out here on his own.
Well, and that's because unlike War Boys, the backroom dealings so far they have shown that they are willing to, when it comes to in between the ropes, they are as fair can be.
I mean, I wouldn't call that factual, but that's also because I've seen my own personal share of their matches over on Genesis, and I know how they function. But from what we've seen here on Nemesis so far, I can't dispute that.
And his opponent, weighing in at 200 pounds, from Buenos Aires, Argentina, FJA.
Now, what I'm most interested in is what exactly has drawn FJA to want to take the fight to the backroom dealings. And honestly, it's interesting, to say the least. We know that FJA doesn't back down from a fight. We know that he likes to have the role of the underdog. But, I mean, to take on 5 men at once, you gotta be, you know, a little crazy to think that you even have a chance.
I mean, a part of me does agree with you, but also we've seen, like, you know, the lone soldier pick up the win before. I mean, if you look back, we saw Pistolero defended the tag titles by himself, and yes, that was only 1 versus 2, but no one thought he could do that. We saw Selena Adams beat all 3 members of the Fatal Vices by herself. I don't think it's likely that FJA can do it, but it's not a complete impossibility.
Well, here we go as Dave Graves and FJA are about to get ready. The bell has rung, and Dave Graves gets off to a good start, but it looks... Oh, hold on. I spoke too soon. He did get off to a good start.
As now continuing to just wear down FJA in the early goings.
Now FJA going after that arm.
Down into a Fujiwara. FJA now bringing the fight to Dave Graves. Flatliner drops him. And this is what FJA needs to do. He needs to not let Dave Graves get ahead of steam here.
Now FJA was able to hang up Dave Graves there on the top rope. You know, this is actually a very smart idea, very smart maneuver, because you use the ropes to your advantage to try and take out the breath out of the other person's body. If you can't control your breathing, then that completely changes your entire game, your game plan, because you need to control your breathing.
Absolutely. And I mean, and we're seeing it with the Supremacy Cup, how it's a marathon, not a sprint. That's a lot of matches here, because if you want to be featured every single week, if you want to have matches as much as possible, you need to have the stamina to back that up. As now walking in the rings of Saturn is Dave Graves, looking for an early tap-out victory.
And we know that that's what he specializes in, that MMA background from Dave Graves. He is honestly going to be somebody interesting to watch from the backroom dealings to see how he evolves as a competitor. Not a lot of people know Dave Graves from his time at Genesis, but then he just kind of shocked the world when he sided with the backroom dealings at the end of the Cell match. But it looks like FJA is not going to be deterred here by any form of Dave Graves as he connects with a beautiful moonsault, but Dave Graves connects with a big boot there on his own.
That big unprotected boot right to the face of FJA. That could certainly knock a couple teeth loose. As now going into the cover is FJA. Only a 1 count thus far. And now it's FJA looking to slow down the pace of the match just a little bit, looking for him to cut off the breathing of Dave Graves.
Now, this is actually a much more methodical pace that we've seen from FJA than before. You know, we're used to seeing FJA go for the high-flying maneuvers. As we look right here, as he's calling him to his feet. This is honestly a different game plan from FJA as, oh, he went for a crossbody, but he got caught, and Dave Graves now using his power to just slam down FJA in the center of the ring.
Just what a show of strength there. by by Dave Graves, just not just being able to roll through on the cross body, but then just being able to manhandle your opponent like that. That is maybe one of the most impressive things I've seen out of any of the backroom dealings thus far. Now, Dave Graves continuing to slow down the pace, keep it at his pace against FJA.
That's honestly very smart. That you want to keep FJA grounded. Like I said, you normally want to keep him grounded because if he flies, then you're in danger. As it looks here, like FJA is going to try and go for one last shot here. The Tiger feint kick connects to Dave Graves' face. FJA now going to go up to the top rope.
Looking for it. The elbow drop, but not able to get it.
And Dave Graves thinks he's already won, but mistakes were made.
And now FJA, he's got him lifted up. Fisherman, no small package striker. And now he's looking to put Dave Graves away once and for all. That painkiller frog splash connects on Dave Graves.
And that may have been it right there as FJA gets the victory over Dave Graves after that painkiller frog splash. Just a beautiful maneuver, and congratulations to FJA on picking up a fantastic victory.
A hard-earned victory.
But, you know, we got to talk about how impressive Dave Graves here was for the night, if we're being honest. He fought a former world title contender, took him to the limit, and he played his game for a little bit before all the momentum came from FJA, and, you know, just he showed why he was the FJA that we've known here in Nemesis. But hold on one second. It looks like FJA is starting to talk trash to Dave Graves' face, and the rest of the backroom dealings is here.
Okay, now I thought backroom dealings was better than this. These underhanded beatdowns is something I expect from Boy Haas, not from the likes of backroom dealings as they take out FJ, just lay him out here unconscious.
You know, FJ didn't even get to celebrate his victory at all. And, I mean, backroom dealings just came out and made a statement.
As now, speaking of statements trying to be made, Damian Morgan looking to make a statement here against a member of the Fatal Vices, one of the most unpredictable members of the Fatal Vices, maybe the most unpredictable man in all of CWL. Damian Morgan looks to go up against Raymondo. He's looking to sort of find that inner self, that inner beast within.
The following match is set for one fall. Introducing first, weighing in at 325 pounds, from Belfast, Ireland, Xavier Moraga.
You know, something that's been concerning me since Damian Morgan kind of donned this new, different-looking mask that he now has since Battle Lines. He actually refuses to take this mask off anymore. And no one knows why. But even if you try, he gets incredibly defensive. And it's a scary sight, to be honest.
I mean, we obviously know that sometimes masks can be a point of order for, like, you know better than anyone, like in luchador culture, that masks are a sacred thing, but it's a different feeling from Damian Morgan. This isn't because this mask has some sort of honor system to it. It's not that, because we've seen Damian Morgan's face before. Whatever is behind this mask of his is a much more sinister thing.
And honestly, that's the scary part. Like, Damian Morgan is already a fantastic competitor. Damian Morgan already is, you know, I feel one of the best talents we have here on Nemesis. What exactly is more sinister or more dangerous than what Damian Morgan already brings to the table?
I mean, I'm sure we might find out sooner rather than later. And if Damien Morgan has his way, we might find out against Raymondo here tonight.
And his opponents, representing the Fatal Vices, from Derrickton Raymondonia, the Sin of Gluttony, Raymondo.
Well, you mentioned unpredictable, Raymondo being the definition of it. I'm convinced now that sometime, whenever language was being created, that when the word unpredictable was crafted and put together, this man was there, because we know that he used to have a time-traveling gorilla buddy with him named Derek, and I'm convinced now. This is fact.
Wait, I need okay, hold on. Why is Alexander so obsessed with Drake being a dinosaur when for the last 4 years we've had a time-traveling gorilla and no one has questioned it?
Because we've seen it in action. We've seen it happen. It's fact.
Yeah, it's... Okay, but like, is a dinosaur that far out of the realm of possibility?
I think so.
I mean... Let's just get to the match. Damien Morgan starting things off strong against Raymondo, going for a gut wrench here from a deadlift position. It just tosses him to the side.
But, okay, what, in your opinion, what does Damien Morgan have to do here against Raymondo to get a victory? Because we know Raymondo, as unpredictable as he is still a very dangerous competitor.
I think what Damien Morgan needs to do is he needs to stick to what he's good at, which is the power game. I think he is able to outmuscle Raymondo, and that's one of the few advantages he will have. Raymondo's going to be a quicker competitor. He's going to be maybe a more technical competitor. But if he can keep dropping him on his head like that with that backdrop driver, I mean, it's going to be definitely quite the match for Morgan if he can keep it at his level, at his power.
And for anybody new that hasn't seen Damien Morgan before, if you look at him and you're wondering why we're talking about the power, go back and watch Battle Lines. This man stood toe-to-toe with Edward Bronson, and we know the power of Edward Bronson.
And now Raymondo, choosing to maybe show off a little bit here. Not the smartest of strategies, but Raymondo has never been a strategist, now has he? It seems like very much so a dog chasing a car. He has no idea what the hell he's doing at any given moment, and that's why we love him.
I mean, before the Fatal Vices, he was very entertaining to watch. But ever since the Fatal Vices, after Merry Mayhem, Raymondo has been on an absolute tear. This man defeated John Spartacus, a 3-time Nemesis world champion.
And he won at Battle Lines in that tables match against John Spartacus and Johnny Gemini. He's definitely been showing up this season. And I think that this could be, we've seen it for Gates, we've seen it for Prez, so this could be the breakout season of Raymondo.
I absolutely agree. And quite frankly, as much as dangerous as the Vices are, and you know, as much as I don't want to see them succeed because they just basically want world domination at this point, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know. Like I would kind of like to see Raymondo win some gold here.
As now continuing to just the arrogance of Raymondo. He might be the sin of gluttony, but he's showing a few less virtuous traits as he goes.
Now it looks like here Raymondo's trying to pop that arm out of socket. Very, very smart plan because, again, that power game from Damien Morgan is something that he's got to watch. But it looks like Raymondo's going up top.
What? I don't think I've ever seen that from Raymondo before.
It's been a long time there, Alex, but the spiral tap connects, and now the Fujiwara armbar is in, and it looks like Raymondo may have just claimed another victim.
Wow, that was an impressive match from Raymondo, to say the very least.
the winner of the match, Raymundo.
An amazingly, absolutely dominant performance from Raymundo. But again, this is just a test from Ken Warlock to Damian Morgan to try and unlock his beast within. We know that Warlock is going to be trying to do that himself at Titan Clash against Damian Morgan. And quite frankly, I'm scared for Damian Morgan at Titan Clash.
Yeah, and I mean, that's definitely one of the matches to look forward to the most.
You know, you say you're looking forward to this match the most here, Alex, but I think Jay Scott is coming out here to claim his stake for the tag team championships. As we know, Jacob Nitro no longer has a tag team partner, so you can't be a champion without a partner. I guess we're about to hear what the Starjammer himself is got to say about this development.
Well, folks, Anarchy Inc. had a great run with those tag team championships. They faced every obstacle, jumped over every hurdle, but it's one thing to go up against some Viking cosplayers or a couple of gym rats who have barely had a thought in their lives besides more weight, and quite another thing to take on a duo who have broken tag team wrestling down to a science. Masters of the craft, students of the game, the premier tag team of Starjammer LLC, Mr. Rodrigo Del Gaiso and myself, the Money Drip Crew. And what did Anarchy Inc. do when faced with an inarguably insurmountable obstacle? Did your underdog heroes soldier on against all odds? No, they collapsed because they realized they were out of their league. And now we no longer have tag team champions, despite Jacob Nitro's claims to the contrary. But do not fear, CWLUniverse. Take heart in the knowledge that we, the Money Drip Crew, are prepared to be immediately awarded with those CWL Tag Team Championships. Rodrigo Del Gaiso and I are prepared to put in the hard work necessary to reign over not just this brand, but this entire company. Yes, my friends, I can already hear your extremely vocal response to this news. You're doubtlessly thrilled and excited that you will be present for the coronation of the greatest champions in the history of this division. So let's get to the part everyone's waiting to see. Come on up, Mr. Chairman. Let's make this official.
Excuse me, Mr. Scott, but you're wrong about one thing. Well, you're wrong about a lot of things, but in the context of this conversation, you're wrong about one thing. See, my partner's sudden departure left me sprawling, but you know what my early years in this business taught me? How to think on my feet. So once I got wind of the situation, I immediately hit up a friend of mine. You'll see him soon. Don't worry. Say, at Titan Clash. In the meantime, my championship is staying right where it belongs, and I don't see it leaving that spot anytime soon. Nitro out.
Speaking of matches that I'm looking forward to, coming up next, we've got Liza Hoyer versus Sheila.
And this is going to be our main event here, ladies and gentlemen. Both of these women are 0-2, and the Supremacy Cup, basically whoever loses this match is going to be mathematically eliminated from the Supremacy Cup.
And Sheila has a chance to break 2 losing streaks here. Her 0-2 record in the Cup and her 0-2 record against Liza Hoyer.
The main event of Nemesis is set for one fall. Introducing first, weighing in at 137 pounds, from Chicago, Illinois, Liza Hoyer.
Liza Hoyer making her way down to the ring. And this is all to play for her tonight. She just lost to 2 of her biggest challenges in the Cup, Holly Queen and Valkyrie. Those are 2 very big losses. Tonight, though, is a chance to get some momentum back. Sheila, someone who she knows she can beat, someone who's 0-2 just like her, maybe a chance to get some confidence back.
And her opponent, weighing 254 pounds, from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Sheila!
You know, Sheila's been a lot like Damian Morgan lately, where she's been very hard to approach about her recent change. And, I mean, I kind of get where she's coming from. She was very, very dominant over on Genesis. She came up to Nemesis, and it wasn't quite the same competition. And she hasn't been the same since. So that kind of maybe shook her own confidence of herself. And now she's talking about how, quote unquote, he will save her.
I mean, it's the analogy, right? It's going from being a big fish in a little pond to being a fish in the ocean with a bunch of sharks. I think Sheila, and this is of no disrespect to the people of Genesis, I think that she was dominant on Genesis, yes, but maybe it was too much too soon to come up to the main roster.
It also could be just that this roster, this Nemesis women's roster, is just so stacked, you know? There's so many great competitors here, and the transition from Genesis to the main roster is not one to take lightly. We've seen Lucas Button over on Vindication recently make his debut, and he had a fantastic match against Ricky Valentine, but, you know, he was mostly a tag team competitor. Now that he's in singles action, he has to employ a different game plan. Maybe Sheila just wasn't ready for the new game plan, or maybe she maybe got full of herself.
That could just be it. It could be arrogance that turns into underconfidence, and that happens to competitors. But now we see these two going back and forth. These two obviously have a lot of history, and like I said, Sheila has a chance to break 2 0-2 records here tonight. She wins, not only is she no longer 0-2 in the Cup, but she'll also no longer be 0-2 against Liza Hoyer. And Liza Hoyer, of course, being the woman she took out backstage to get herself a spot in the Nemesis Women's Battle Lines match.
And you know that's got to mean something here to Liza to be here in the main event of Nemesis once again against Sheila. Last time these two were in the main event of Nemesis, Sheila was blindsided by Liza Hoyer's debut, which was also the qualification for Battle Lines. But now they know exactly what they're headed into. There's more stakes on the line because if either of these women win, they could still be participants and winners of the Supremacy Cup, which means that they get a title match at Endgame.
I mean, yeah, and we've seen people in like their debut season do very well for themselves. I mean, if you remember back all the way to season 2, Rosa Washington, she nearly won her bracket, and it was in her debut performance. Her very first match in the company was in the Supremacy Cup, and she nearly won the whole damn thing.
You know, that's kind of the... I think that's the mentality that Sheila should have adopted here coming into the Supremacy Cup. I think that she just got overconfident, and maybe people figured her out after seeing her losses here on the main roster. And that's another thing too. When you come from Genesis over to Nemesis, there's more footage of you to be studied when you lose. And you know that up here on Vindication and Nemesis, we have the elite of the elite competition, and they're not going to just lie down and take it.
Absolutely. And that's, the truth of the matter is there's a reason why the Nemesis Women's Championship is considered to be, to many people, the most prestigious prize in all of professional wrestling, is because of how absolutely stacked this division is. Now we see Sheila getting in control here, just stomping on the back of the head of Liza Hoyer, looking to continue the assault. And we know, of course, Sheila got half the eliminations for Team Nemesis at Battle Lines. So we definitely know she isn't in a complete slump. It's just in the past 2 matches she's come out with losses.
And what would a third do to her, especially against Liza Hoyer?
I mean, obviously it would make it so she can't win the cup anymore, but you've also got to feel like at that point you just know that's a matchup that you don't understand, that you don't that you need to seriously work on. Is right now Liza Hoyer looking to kick the head right off of Sheila.
And this is how she's won before. Is this going to be the third time that she's done it? But no. Sheila actually kicks out this time, as now it looks here like Liza Hoyer is going to give her the boot to the face.
A little taste of horror there. And now looking to make it a hat trick is Liza Hoyer. And she is still in the cup. And she goes up 3-0 against Sheila. Sheila needs to find that missing thing against Liza Hoyer, because it's evident that something is just not clicking there.
The winner of the main event, Liza Hoyer.
With Liza Hoyer protecting her spot in the Supremacy Cup, that's going to be all for us here at Nemesis. Be sure to tune in next week for the Nemesis pay-per-view Titan Clash. Until then, though, I've been Alexander Shaw. He's been the chairman, bidding you a very farewell adieu.